Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Napoleon Total back with some Shogun 2 Follow the Samurai Scramble for the Far East mod, and we're back with Qing. In the last episode, we took a Wari, and now we're just going to be moving on. However, there is one small problem. The problem is kind of the fact that the Americans have two armies, one to our north, one to our south, and those two armies could technically just squeeze my army at a Wari. And the unfortunate also thing is the fact that literally we don't. Our other army is a little way far back, so we are kind of in a pickle in this battle. But elsewhere, in the fleet, we just destroyed an American fleet by auto-resolving the battle. And in the north, we are actually marching on to Hida, although we haven't started the march yet. I'm gonna move my faction leader to Owari, and we're gonna hope for the best. This army is also gonna be moving, and it's gonna be moving fast. I'm gonna have my cavalry force go and do stuff, which is stand outside of the city. And because it's now spring, we don't have to really worry about winter attrition. This fleet is gonna be going to Kaga and is gonna be sending more guys onto Echizu, which is gonna be linked up with my army, main army. And this army is going to be probably the most modern army that I ever have, except for the one that is currently being built up. So yes, that's that. And that army is kind of being built up in the south. And the reason why I'm going to be building that army in the south is going to be eventually I'm going to do a landing in the north. I'm going to talk more about that later. But that said, most of my army is made of mortars. So technically I can do a battle today. But however, I do have to move my mortars out, so that's not a good sign. I'm gonna give most of the artillery to this man, and we're gonna actually pray for the best. We're gonna actually end their turn because I do want to see what the Americans do. If they attack me, both sides are gonna have equal reinforcements. But that said, we're moving even more troops to Japan. The British are, like I said in the last turn, they're slightly going to be improved, and so that's that. And yes, that's that, and yeah. Americans, I find, have a lot of ships, but they're for some reason not grouping them up, which is a big problem. And another problem I see is the fact that public order, and the public order problem is just kind of funny now at this point. I have so much public order to deal with, but it's not a pain, except for the provinces of Setsu and Kaga. Those two provinces are literally a pain. Except for Kaga isn't acting that badly. Setsu is really bad. But now it's not that bad because I'm putting a lot of troops in Setsu, so that's going to be a fortunate thing. The Americans have a small army here, and I'm just going to pray for the best. I'm actually going to move a lot of artillery pieces in this one massive army. So yes. And the second I have this massive army, I'm just going to fight this battle. We're going to retreat for once, and we're actually going to... We're actually gonna have two armies attack this one small army. What's funny is that as you see right now, although the balance of power is we outnumber them by multiple times, we are not capable of auto-resolving this battle. And when I attack with my mortar army, the auto-resolve is even less in my favor. So that is a pain. I'm just going to fight the battlefield, and I'm going to cut out the battle, because essentially what happens in this battle is I fire my rockets and the Americans run. Literally. So that said, the battle has been over, and I started to move my troops down south, facing Mikawa. I'm actually going to fight another fleet battle against this massive American fleet. And it's actually pretty scary, the numbers that the Americans have. And for some reason, my 4 ships is able to essentially figuratively defeat this many American ships. I don't know how that even works out, but I'm not gonna take my chances. I'm just gonna auto-resolve and see what I can do. I'm gonna quick save just to make sure. And I'm gonna auto-resolve. We lost 2 ships, but we also captured 2 ships, while the Americans lost, I don't know how many ships. So yes. Once again, I do have to say that's a pretty good trade-off. This American fleet is down now to down 2 ships. So that's interesting. Elsewhere, I'm gonna sending my faction leader to take Mino. Well, my fleet once again is also gonna be moving around the Strait of Japan, and they're gonna be sailing to the south of Japan. This army, I need to give a lot more infantry to this massive block, and the Prussians. I am eventually gonna have the Prussians ask the Prussians kindly to declare war on the United States. So yes, that's that. The Americans are going to be reinforcing Hida, and they're also going to be reinforcing a lot of places. They have a lot of armies in the field, but they're just not grouping them together. If the Americans grouped their armies together, they would have pretty much destroyed me within the first few hours of the war, but they don't. And yes, everywhere across the board, it's looking pretty good for us. There's a lot of revolts, but yes. We are blocking a railroad, but that's the British railroad, so we don't really care. And it's this rebel force that's doing that, so yes. And Setsu has started to revolt again, so yeah, that's unfortunate. I have a feeling I don't need one of these, and I'm just gonna destroy the stables. And I'm gonna replace that with a police station to maintain the public order. Yes, that's that. There is 2 American armies at that province, but here is the province of Hida, and it has once again 2 American armies. I'm gonna have my geisha distract, and I'm gonna also reinforce this army. This army is technically full. It's half of their armies are yeah. So yes, I'm gonna start doing some battles really soon. And I've said in my last episode that I'm actually gonna be doing a lot of Avatar battles these days, because I'm gonna be waiting for how do I put it, the update, and hopefully after the update it's gonna be interesting. Once again, I am also moving more troops via the ocean, and we're going to be moving to Kaga. Yes. And not to mention my other fleet, which is right here. I'm just going to move this here, and we can't repair them because we don't have a military harbor. Sorry, we do have a military harbor, but we need a ship harbor, if that makes sense. And the Americans come out of the blue with a lot more ships, and to make the situation worse, now I only have my transports. But I'm going to be producing more ships just to do stuff. And my other fleet is coming across the ocean, and we're going to be coming fast. This fleet is also going to come up with this army. And this is the army that have been training all this time. And what this army is going to do is essentially go down south. We're going to go enter into Prussian lands. We're gonna get military access from the Prussians, and then we're just gonna outright march onto Musashi. So that's that. We're actually gonna be taking Mino, but there is two stack American army right here, and yes, this is that. We're actually gonna just siege Ichuno, and I'm just gonna fight it. I don't have my other army reinforcing, which is not a bad idea. But we're just gonna be starting to open fire rockets on the enemy. And like I said, rockets for some reason a lot of lag. So yes, and I haven't changed my graphics yet. My graphics is everything's ultra, which is why you see a lot of detail. I am eventually going to change it to sky is going to be medium to low, and water is going to be medium to low, while everything else is just going to stay ultra. So yes. The second rocket volley is going to be even more terrifying. But for some reason, most artillery pieces in this mod have like a period in which the aimers are trying to fire, but it's not firing. And then it finally fires. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. For the enemy, this footage is gonna be probably a lot of lag, because I'm gonna be firing a lot of rockets into this massive blob of cavalry, and the enemy are just gonna be sitting here with their entire cavalry force, and they're just getting destroyed by my rockets. And I have a lot of rockets being fired on this one position, and the lag is a lot of lag. However, when I was recording it and when I was playing the battle, there wasn't a lot of lag. Partly because I was so far away, and this battle is a close-up, so that's unfortunate. I'm just gonna send my men through the gate with in spear wall or Gary wall, and these guys are just gonna inch forward step by step, literally. And when they do get through the gate, they're just gonna be met by the enemy cavalry, which is why I sent this unit in, as you can see in the background. All that rocket damage did a lot of damage. Most of them were rockets just being fired at the enemy. And now I'm just gonna send in my Qing Red Banner Spearmen. And for those who don't know what a Qing is basically a spear. So yes, the second these guys are through, we're gonna actually hold our ground, and we're actually gonna see what the enemy does. The enemy is going to be attacking right now, but this is a kind of a terrible charge. But however, it doesn't matter how terrible of a charge it is, the enemy is just going to get destroyed by my guys with spears. And once again, this is one of the good examples of why you don't charge cavalry in spears. Unlike us, horses aren't suicidal. And horses don't want to die. So yes. Continuing on, we're going to be reaching the third tier, and basically what's going to happen is the enemy is just going to be blobbing up at this gate, which we destroyed, and I'm going to form into a spear wall, and I'm just going to move my guys on them, and basically what you're going to see is probably the most useful type of, and this battle is probably the battle in which I use my spearmen the best, and basically what happens is just I just poke, and literally like pikes, and all these guys just died. Literally. Not to mention the fact that their backs are turned to us. And they're just dying in droves at this point. This is actually kind of funny. That said, we just taken 400 casualties while we take an entire fortress. We're gonna peacefully occupy. We wanted to attack that army, but that army decided like, nope, we don't want to attack. I'm actually gonna move my mortars out because I don't know if the enemy is gonna be attacking my fortress. And when it does attack, the mortars are gonna be deleted off the face of the earth for some reason. So that's unfortunate. But that said, there's not a lot of things I can do right now. This army is that Mino has just been captured. Technically, I do want to reinforce Hida, but there's not really a point because the army in Hida is a modern army, and I do want to test out a my new modern army. But that's it. I do have to reinforce this army because this army is eventually going to be marching on Musashi. And we're actually going to be fighting this American army. And as you can see, we have a lot of rockets and mortars on this battlefield. So much so that it's a lot more lag. Which is why I'm actually going to be cutting out a lot of parts of the battle. Some parts will be men flying around the battlefield, literally. During the battle, an entire American regiment literally got sent flying, not a joke. Flying through the air, and they all end up dying with after a rocket volley. So that's going to tell you how devastating these rockets are. Mortars I don't find to have a lot of problems with lag, but rockets they somehow do. So yes. I think it's just to tell you a statement of how like the rockets are so devastating that the computer can't even handle them. So that's kind of funny. The Americans are just going to be charging through, and as you can see, the entire ground that they're marching through is full of fires, which is kind of scary. As you can see, the remains of this American regiment is basically these two guys that are dead. One is moaning in pain right here, with the colors of what looks like an American colonial infantry division. That entire unit was literally set flying with its remains scattered around the battlefield. So yes, we're doing the exact same thing to a few other regiments, but for some reason it's not that effective. Probably because I haven't been asking them to fire on this one exact unit. I'm actually asking them to spread their fire. But our army is going to be reinforced by our reinforcing army. And the funny thing is that the reinforcing army is going to be coming behind the Americans. So that's going to be pretty interesting. As you can see in the distance, our mortars are just raining havoc on the enemy. Mortars and rockets are pretty dang terrifying. Alright guys, this is the half of our reinforcing army. The other half of the reinforcing army is right here actually. And they're going to be just straight outright charging the American position. We're actually going to be coming pretty well off, in the sense that we're actually going to be charging onto the backs of the Americans, so that's great. As you can see, as we get closer and closer to the fight, the rockets are going to be playing the rockets are going to be even more laggy. As you can see right now, the lag is still really starting to kick up. I'm actually not going to stop firing my rockets because I'm actually not afraid of friendly fire in this battle. The reason is because I'm just going to be firing at the backs of the Americans. Yeah, that is entire rocket, all my rockets firing on one enemy unit. Half of them missed because of the hill, and the other half just does detrimental effect. Some literally exploded in front of their faces, and now the Americans are trying to reinforce their front line by sending in some Monterey guards. And I like how the second the rockets stop, there's not a lot of lag anymore, so that's funny. And the second the rockets return, open up, oh my god, it's so much lag. But anyway, it's needless to say that the entire American army just got destroyed right there. Even if I wasn't to do anything, the rockets and mortars would have been devastating. But yes, we're gonna have our cavalry for the first and probably the last time. We're gonna finish off the Americans. We've lost 800 men, and half of them were from friendly fire. Especially, although I wasn't really wanting to get friendly fire. The friendly fire was pretty amazing. We're gonna auto-resolve this because I think we're definitely gonna win. However, for some reason we do take heavy casualties. We've lost 18 guys, which is pretty heavy considering the fact that all I need to do if I was in an actual battle is to fire rockets and they all die. But we do capture another piece of American artillery, so we're gonna mass this up in a worry. And at this point, there's not really much to do. This army is getting massed. And yes. So there's nothing much I can really do. This army, which is being massed in the southern provinces, is slowly being moved. My fleet is actually going to be moving, but because there are American warships in the vicinity, I really can't be doing that. I'm actually going to end the turn, and my fleet is going to be sailing around the Sea of Japan, and we're actually going to be coming really soon. The Americans reinforced their army with nothing, literally. So this army is just going to go back to Mikawa, and in a few more turns we're just going to launch our full-out assault on Mikawa. We're going to storm through Mikawa, and we're just going to go straight for Musashi. However, back in Setsu, rebellions are just popping up left and right. One of our guys got assassinated, so that's unfortunate. I'm actually trying to see who got assassinated. Oh my god. The person that got assassinated was this guy. The recently promoted general. So that's unfortunate. So technically I have no new generals in the battlefield, so that's really unfortunate. I'm having my spy trying to desperately kill this enemy. This is the same spy that we see. Yeah, so that's a really big pain. I'm just gonna wait for the enemies to sail past me, and I'm just gonna pray my best. These two units will be eventually joining that massive fleet, and then after that, it will just be great. Now, the Dutch have a lot of Japanese ships, which is not a bad idea. In this mod, I think a lot more ships do count, but at the same time, a lot more modern ships also count, so yes. We're actually going to just take this army to take down Mikawa, and we're actually going to break the siege. We're going to attack this army, and the enemy army just backs off. We're actually training more units, but I decided not to because we don't really need cavalry. We're gonna have my faction leader come and support. And yes, that's that. Elsewhere, the siege of Hida is still continuing to go on. Because I'm feeling a lot of pressure from the United States, I'm asking Prussia to declare war. And they're at first against it, but after me giving them some military access, they're like, we're for it. I'm not gonna give them infinite, I'm just gonna give them 10. But after that, they're like, nope, so I'm gonna give them 20, and I'm gonna pay them. 2,000 koku is not enough, apparently. I eventually gave them 5,000 koku. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. And because I have a lot of money, I'm not gonna be doing stuff like, do I want to subtract 1,000? I'm not gonna be doing that because I have a lot of money in the bank. Now officially, the Prussians are officially at war with the United States of America, thanks to me. And almost instantly, the Prussians lose land. At first I thought the Prussians are just gonna, they have a lot of armies. How else would they have taken out the Northern Alliance? But apparently, it's a joke. The British agents are wrecking the Americans, which is great. Thank you to the United Kingdom for doing that. That said, what I really want from British is the Yamashiro, which is basically Kyoto. So yes, that's that. but they're obviously not going to give it to me. And finally, the enemy is going to be sailing out of Hida. We're going to fight the battle on the battlefield. We do have a lot of cavalry, but the bulk of my army is one cavalry, and this ever victorious army. This ever victorious army is actually pretty interesting. You'll see why in a second. But their uniforms look interesting. Their hats are essentially green turbans, and they have the exact same stats as the American foot infantry, so that's interesting. We are facing against some enemy militia, so that's great. The enemy is going to get their first volley off, although I have been firing the second they come in range. And we're actually going to get our first volley, and for some reason I have them in needle fire. And so yes, that's that. Eventually, after just having a firefight, which is kind of boring, our guys are just going to charge the back of the enemy. And after that, the entire enemy lines just crumbles after that point. The enemy are still going to be firing, but at that point, yeah, it's not good looking for the enemy. I'm going to retreat for a second, and I'm just going to smash the enemy once again, and that is just going to compel this entire front to this entire sector, the left flank of the Americans, to essentially just rout. And after that, I'm just going to go down the line, and we're just going to rout the entire American army. So yes, cavalry at this stage of the game, which is we're at the end game essentially, is still pretty terrifying if you know how to use it correctly. And in this battle, we just essentially annihilate the entire American army. We basically destroyed an entire enemy army, with the exception of having a few guys left. And that is going to make the next battle very auto-resolvable. The enemy is gonna... The rebels are just going to be attacking Setsu again. We're going to auto-resolve. But we also have to put more garrison troops in this province. We actually do get a general out of that, so that's wonderful. And elsewhere, we do have problems with public order. Once again, we're actually going to auto-resolve this battle because it's so close. If we do night battle, it's actually way better for some reason. Probably because of the enemy reinforcing army. We're gonna take this province, and we're automatically gonna fight the enemy army. That was apparently in reinforcing range. The enemy army decides to retreat, which is not a bad idea. I'm just gonna chase them. This entire cavalry force is gonna be facing up some against two colonial cavalry, one volunteer, and we're just gonna annihilate them completely off the battlefield. We'll only lose 13 guys, which is great. We're gonna get another general, so we're gonna have him promoted. And we're gonna keep reinforcing this army with some guard infantry now. We're actually still sieging Makawa. But actually we're not sieging Makawa, we have an enemy army around Makawa. We wound Ralph again, the American agent. And hopefully our fleet is going to be in range, which doesn't look like it's in range. This is the fleet with 6 ships. And yes, this is 4 ships, but it's going to be acting as a transport fleet. And it's going to be picking up some more guys, and then it's going to go straight to... Well, it's going to land near the Prussians, and then we're going to disembark, and then we're going to be marching to Makawa. Sorry, Musashi, my bad. We have to do a lot of repairs in this province because rebels. And so yes. I'm going to be recruiting some guys, and the reason why I'm going to do that is going to be because I'm going to maintain public order by Iron Will in Setsu. However, I'm also going to be moving my fleet. This fleet can actually move here. And yes, that fleet is going to be deploying the reinforcing army to this province. But yes, we're going to be attacking Mikawa, or Okakazi, the next episode. So this is pretty much it for this episode. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Now before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.